people manage it. But I think we thought that bands would kind of like coming up to Boston instead of New York or LA just for a break and just for a place where they wouldn't be under the microscope so much. And we had hoped that, you know, more major national acts would come and make records there. But I think that's down to management, probably, or just the way the place was managed. But it was fun having our own studio.
Yeah, it was fun working on it too. We worked with the designers and everything, gutted the building and put all beautiful interiors in it. And it was really nice.
We didn't want to do anything fake. You know, like we didn't want to come out and say the same thing every night or have like, you know, the show opens with, you know, Greg saying a piece and then we go into this song and then Ben moves from here to here and we do this. We never wanted to do that because it didn't feel right.
We felt it was sort of show busy.
Yeah, we didn't want to be show business.
Clap. And, you know, it's just totally obvious and stuff.
We even took it a step further. We hosted the Midnight Special, and we had absolutely no talking whatsoever, even in introducing the bands. It's the only Midnight Special that you'll ever see that doesn't have Wolfman Jack going, oh, you know, I mean, it was just like a computer printout at the bottom of the screen saying, and now here's a band you'll enjoy, M singing pop music or whatever, you know, it was, or Robert Fripp, and the entire night there wasn't one word said. I mean, I think that was one of the ultimate versions of that.
Remember how it came about? We actually didn't want to do it because we didn't like the show and think too much of the show.
We thought it was
so
corny.
We thought we would make demands that they could never
see how much you get away with.
So we said, yeah, if we can have anybody we want on, and we don't have on the actual host of the show, we'll do it. And they said, oh, yeah, we'll do that. So we were stuck doing the show, so we thought, well, let's make the best of it. So we
had Iggy on, and we had like all these bands we liked.
Lena Lovitch.
Yeah.
Suicide in front of millions and millions of American viewers.
The Records were on live with us.
Yeah.
And Wolfman was nowhere in sight, you know, because we'd always seen that show and like they'd always break for a commercial with him with his arm around like the singer and they'd make the wolf call and we'll be right back, and there was no way this band was going to do that stuff. So we just devised a way to make it work for us, and it was just this like, you know, there's a new scene in music, and you know, tonight's an evening of something you might not have seen before, and it was kind of cool, you know. It was,
and I think everybody liked it. I think the
for mainstream
producers of the
TV,
show
it was a pretty cool
liked
thing.
it and everything, but they just went right back to the regular format.
Oh yeah, the next week it was back to
didn't even mention
Casey and the
anything
Sunshine
that
Band or
happened.
whatever.
But it was done naively. You know, we just didn't, none of us were like, you know, doing acrobats, and none of us like had that kind of fake show presence.
No.
Yeah, and also we never said we're not going to talk either.
No, we didn't.
It just felt like that's what we
But
should
we got
be
a
doing.
rep as that. You know, we never said, all right, New York, you know, we never did that stuff, you know, it just never felt like it went with the music, really.
But we got complaints and stuff from critics that we didn't do it.
All the time.
Always.
We just figured
They said we were cold and didn't like welcome the people like we should.
Right, like we didn't give them the, you know, because we didn't do that Pavlovian thing, you know, that they all go to a show to expect, you know. It was we asked a little more of the audience, perhaps.
We didn't have any mob psychology going on.
It was just, you know, music.
I basically live a lot at night because I happen to be one of those nocturnal, you know, people who stay up all night, you know, and go to bed at 4 and wake up at 12, you know. And I just think there's mystery in the night, and lots of different kinds of thinking goes on at night, and it's just a more mysterious time. And people, you know, I guess so, night crawls into the songs, you know, because because maybe I don't like day that much. And, but, you know, I can't really think of a song that I actually based on a particular person anyway. You know, most songs, like I might have said once before, they're sort of like, they can be autobiographical, but they're also fiction, you know. But they sort of like you were talking about the book the other day by Michael Crichton, you know, how he takes like scientific facts, but he makes it into a science fiction novel. So maybe I take some like you know, specific situations and then turn them into a fictitious thing. Well, the women would have to be made up because I certainly didn't, you know, carouse, like, you know, I didn't have women hanging off my arm all the time, you know. But, you know, maybe it's just, they're kind of, maybe they were fantasy things, you know, maybe they were, you know, they weren't based on real personal experiences on a nightly basis, you know, but maybe they were just things I thought people would think, or wondered how people got themselves in a particular situation, and I also thought a lot of them were comic in a way.
You can have a healthy libido without actually acting out.
Yeah. I thought they were kind of somewhere. I mean, I wouldn't say a song like Drive was comic, but, you know, but some of them had, to me, they were comic.
Well, that's, you know, that's the other thing, though. We had sort of our own humor in the band that maybe, like, we weren't perceived as a funny band particularly, but we laughed a lot and had a lot of jokes, and I think there's probably things in the songs that we know, like I'm on top of my nerves, or little lines that, you know, we know where they come from, but nobody else would, you know, and so it's probably just like any band, you know, develops a lexicon, you know, of their own. And
well, we had a good one going.
oh yeah, you know, it was a very funny band, believe it or not.
It's funny, when people come up to you and it affects so many people, then I have to kind of say, well, you know, if you like it, I'm not going to destroy your dream, you know, but you know, it's like, I mean, I guess as an artist you got to, you know, think about, like, well, I don't know if you have to think about it, but basically, you know, you're kind of laying something out, and it's kind of, it feels a little vulnerable, you know. You're pretty vulnerable, really, because your lyrics are kind of what you think, you know. I mean, I think I also hide in them, you know. I think there's some stuff hidden. I think you hide behind them a little bit. I mean, maybe sometimes, you know, twisting the stuff around it's like a puzzle that I can understand, you know. It's like a thing that, and I think the band too, you know, kind of like, they understand, like, the twisted words, or maybe they understand something about the mood of it, you know. But and sometimes, you know, you can say what you want, but you can also, like, kind of you know, twist it a little bit so that it can have other meanings, and, you know, and that's what I would like to do, you know. I like to leave it kind of open for interpretation. That's why sometimes in interviews people want to know the exact meaning of something. And I think, well, there's no real exact meaning, you know. It's kind of a good, you know, you can interpret a meaning that you're welcome to keep and have, and I'll agree with you. Candio, it's funny, I never knew anyone Candio. Did I? I don't think so.
You never told me about it.
Did I? Yeah. It's like, you know, something you say that's kind of like feels good to say. Like when you're rocking along or something, and you just, something just comes out of your mouth, you know.
Scans good.
It sounds like, you know, hey, that's, feels like, okay, that's kind of cool. You know, as long as you don't censor yourself too much, you know, you can come up with things like Candio.
I think the thing I'm proudest of is that we're a band that you hear a few seconds of it and you know what band it is. And that we're actually a band that mattered a little bit to people and made some kind of contribution that added and just moved the thing